What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. From this episode onwards, we're kind of changing up the formula or the way that we have the show structured. Nothing's going to change about the schedule of like the show's release or anything like that. Just the way that I kind of break down the news and some of the new segments that I'm introducing into this. So let's get right into it. First things first, this is a new segment where I'd like to just go through and cover all of the recent game releases that have come out within the last week. So we're just going to go through this, listing off the game's title, the platforms they were released on, and the date. First up, Dragon's Dogma 2 for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S on March 22nd, and going forward, instead of listing off all of the consoles, I'm just gonna say current gen consoles to address PS5, Series X and S, and if it's also on the Switch, I'll address that separately, so I'd say like PC, current gen consoles, and Switch. I also just realized that a lot of games came out on the same day on like different days, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say like for March 22nd and then list off the games. So on March 22nd we already have Dragon's Dogma 2, and then Princess Peach Showtime for the Switch, Rise of the Ronin for PS5, The Legend of Legacy HD Remastered for PC, Switch, PS4, and PS5, and then moving up to March 25th, we have Acolyte of the Altar for PC. Moving up to March 26th, we have South Park Snow Day for the PC, Switch, and current-gen consoles. Bulwark of Falconeer Chronicles for the PC and current-gen consoles. Planet Zoo Console Edition for the current-gen consoles. Outpost Infinity Siege for PC. Grandia HD Collection for the PS4 and Xbox One. Then moving up to March 27th, we have Distant Bloom for PC. Not Tonight for the Switch. And then moving up to March 28th, we have Open Roads for the Switch, PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, Series X and S, Pepper Grinder for the PC and Switch, and Stacklands for the Switch. Now I'd love to hear from you guys. What have you been playing, and have you picked up any of these games? Next up, we got the April PS Plus Essential Games for you guys, those being Immortals of Avium for PS5, Minecraft Legends for PS4 and PS5, and Skull the Hero Slayer for PS4. Also, PS Plus will be getting some exclusive DLC, that being the Overwatch 2 Mega Bundle, which includes 9 skins and 5 Battle Pass tier skips. So, if you have PS Plus, might as well redeem these games. You're paying for the service, and hey, I mean, at that point, the games are kind of free, and there's no better price than free. Next up, F-Zero Maximum Velocity is coming to Nintendo Switch Online. This coming from Nintendo of America on X. Quote, all galactic speed limits are about to be broken. Unlock hidden vehicles and tracks as you master 20 different courses at 4 difficulty levels in F-Zero Maximum Velocity. Coming to Nintendo Switch for Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members on March 29th, which means by the time you guys are seeing this video, it is available, and I highly recommend this game. Do I have some nostalgia bias? Yes, but in general, it is just an amazing game. Next up, I just want to let you guys know that Islets, I'm not really sure how you're supposed to say that, but anyway, that game is free on Epic Games. It is free until April 4th at 11 a.m. EST, so you might as well redeem it because there's no better price than free. Next up, the Stellar Blade demo is available now, and it is worth noting that any progress you make in the demo will carry over to the full game of which releasing April 26th. They also said on the PlayStation blog that, quote, we also have a little surprise included for players who complete the first stage, end quote. So might be worth getting in. There might be some limited time rewards. I'm not sure if it's exclusive to the demo, but either way, I've been anticipating this one for a while, so I'm super excited. Next up, a new Star Ocean the Second Story R update is available now. The description reads, there are now more reasons for you to play Star Ocean the Second Story R with the latest update to the game, which includes a new difficulty mode, post-game raid enemies, new weapons, and more. And it is worth noting that it is completely free, and Star Ocean the Second Story R, obviously this is a remake, but it's a remake of an amazing game, and the remake itself is absolutely amazing, so I can't recommend it enough. Definitely dive in and give it a shot. Next up, the Final Fantasy XVI, the Rising Tide DLC release date was announced. This will be coming out April 18th, and in the description it says, quote, an unmarked letter arrives at the hideaway containing a request most curious. The dominant of Leviathan, long-lost icon of water, is in need of rescue. To heed this call, Clive and his companions must journey to Mysidia, a hidden land under a blue sky, where they will uncover the tragic history of a forgotten people, end quote. Now, it is worth noting, the Rising costs $19.99 USD. However, if you haven't bought the other DLC, Echoes of the Fallen, which released back in December for $9.99, but, you know, you're interested in both DLCs, you could buy the expansion pass for $24.99 and save yourself the extra $5. That it would, you know, because if you buy them separately, it would be $30, whereas if you buy the expansion, it would be $25. So I know it's only $5, but, you know, today's economy and everything like that, you know, not trying to crack any jokes here, but, like, seriously, every dollar counts. So I figured I'd mention that just in case. Next up, new Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC was announced. This game just keeps on going. But anyway, this is coming from DragonBallOfficial.com. Quote, the new DLC, Future Saga Chapter 1, was announced for the hit video game Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. In this brand new teaser, you can catch a glimpse of the new mode that is a continuation from Villainous Mode and Super Villain. And that's not all, as Fu is back and looking more formidable than ever before. Get hyped for this all new content. Also, the development roadmap that was revealed in a previous article on our site has been updated to show this new announcement, so check it out below. I'll put up a picture on screen so you guys can kind of pause and just, you know, read through it. Then they say, stay tuned for more info. And again, it just blows my mind, because this game released October 25th of 2016, and here we are, 2024, almost a full decade later, 8 years later. It's still getting updates, time after time. We've even had multiple Dragon Ball games come out since then, and it's still going. But hey, I'm cool with it. If they want to keep updating this game until Sparking Zero comes out, or hey, they may even go crazy with it and keep updating it after the fact. I don't mind either way. Xenoverse 2, one of my favorite Dragon Ball games. Well, then again, I love like literally every Dragon Ball game. You know, I'm super biased about the franchise. I can't pick a favorite. They're all like my babies. Doesn't matter if we're talking Xenoverse, Fusions on the 3DS, Legacy of Goku on the GBA, Shin Budokai on the PSP. I love them all, but anyways, I'm super excited for more DLC. Next up, the Riffmaster guitars are available now, and just like I said before when I said when we have more information, I'll let you guys know, and here we are. We have more information because, well, they're available now. So anyway, there's one for the Xbox One and Series X and S and PC and all that, and then there's another one that's specifically for the PS5 and PS5, or PS5 and PS4. Jeez, my brain's mush right now. Both are $129.99 USD. There's all sorts of cool features like wireless connectivity, and there's even a, quote, patent-pending guitar analog stick, as well as toting a rechargeable battery that can apparently last 36 hours on one charge, giving me flashbacks to like the Wii U Pro controller right there. I can leave that thing in my drawer uncharged for months on end, turn it on, still get like 30 hours out of it. But anyway, on the PDP site it says, quote, compatible with Rock Band 4 and anticipated compatibility with Fortnite Festival as soon as Rock Band 4 guitars are supported. So, hey, you know, I mean, again, it's a bit of a steep asking price of $129.99, but it seems to be pretty high quality, seems to be some cool features, and I'm willing to pick it up, you know, like, I haven't played Rock Band 4 in a while, and I haven't even touched Fortnite Festival yet, but, you know, I'd be willing to pick it up, you know, anything to support the revival of the Guitar Hero / Rock Band type games. I'm all for it. Next up, I just want to let you guys know that Judas previews have gone live. This game is being headed by Ken Levine, the person behind BioShock, so this is essentially like the next generation of BioShocks. We haven't really had a BioShock game since the Xbox 360 / PS3 generation, and we're 2 generations ahead of that now, but anyway, this game looks very in-depth, very trippy, very crazy, very immersive, and very BioShocky, and I very much so cannot wait. The main previews I'll point to are the ones over on IGN, as well as the one over on SkillUp's channel with the Friends Per Second podcast. Those were the 2 that I saw, and I didn't watch too much of it because, you know, I don't want anything spoiled for me, for like, I want to go into the game as blind as possible, but I did click on it, just see a few seconds of gameplay, maybe hear a few things that we're talking about, and yeah, this game looks crazy, and I cannot wait. Next up, Marvel Rivals was announced. The description reads, quote, introducing Marvel Rivals, the premier superhero team-based PvP shooter. Assemble your favorite Marvel characters and engage in 6v6 battles utilizing brand new team-up skills in destructible locations from across the Marvel multiverse. The closed alpha test is coming this May, end quote. So, this is essentially like Overwatch with Marvel characters, and it is worth noting that at the end of the trailer, it only had Steam and Epic Games listed, so there's no confirmation for consoles at this time, nor is there a confirmed release date or price at this time. And again, they were toting destructible locations and stuff like that in the game. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be like Battlefield, where we're seeing like entire walls being broken through and skyscrapers coming down, but regardless, I'm excited for it. I'll give it a shot. You know, I don't play hero shooters that often. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that I don't play them that often. Like, I played Overwatch back in the day for a bit. Played Overwatch 2 when it came out. But it's just, you know, when I'm maining a game, like, when it comes to my main live service game, usually just, you know, like, whatever the current Call of Duty is. But even then, most of the time, I'm just bouncing between a lot of different games, right? Like, I'm just playing a bunch of different single-player games, knocking stuff off the backlog, trying out new games and stuff like that. And when I do stick to a game for a long period of time, again, it tends to be something just, you know, a bit more, I guess, something to where I could be competitive, or I could be chill, like Call of Duty. But something like Marvel Rivals, where it's like a hero-based shooter, there's a lot of coordination there. I'm not very good with people, so again, I'll dive in and try it, see how it is. It's Marvel. I love Marvel. I'll try literally anything superhero-based, Marvel or DC. We don't have too much information on it at the time, but it seems to be exploding online. A lot of people seem to be excited for it, so as soon as I know more, well, then you guys will know more as well. Next up, it seems like the Suyu emulator has already been pulled down. It didn't even make it a full, like, 2 weeks. Anyway, this coming from The Verge, quote, Nintendo might not need to individually sue emulators out of existence to drive them deeper underground. Today, GitLab cut off access to Nintendo Switch emulator Suyu and disabled the accounts of its developers after receiving what appears to be a scary email in the form of a DMCA takedown request. Quote, GitLab received a DMCA takedown notice from a representative of the rights holder and follow our standard process outlined here. Spokesperson Kristen Butler tells The Verge, Suyu was a fork of Yuzu, the emulator that Nintendo successfully sued. Whoever sent the takedown request is trying to piggyback on how Yuzu allegedly allegedly violated DMCA 1201 by circumventing Nintendo's technical protection measures. Oh, and maybe also subtly threatening GitLab with unlawful trafficking, also a part of DMCA 1201, while they're at it. Also, Suyu has claimed it does not include the same circumvention measures as YouTube. It doesn't necessarily matter all that much, since a platform like GitLab doesn't have to host anything that it doesn't want to host. It may not be worth the time and effort to push back on an invalid DMCA takedown request to protect something you might not even care to protect, particularly if the alternative might be Nintendo coming at you with an actual lawsuit, end quote. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like this is necessarily a situation where Nintendo was like, hey, you know, we're gonna come sue you. But rather, it was just a situation of GitLab being like, hey, we're just gonna take this down before they do that. Not saying that they would have done that, because obviously there's many other Switch emulators out there, like Ryujinx, for example, that is still fine, and, you know, there's other developers still in development that haven't been affected by any of this. But yeah, you know, GitLab just seems to be trying to get out in front of this, and they're like, hey, before anything bad could happen, let's just take this thing down, and honestly, could you blame them? Next up, apparently The Legend of Zelda live-action movie will have a, quote, serious tone. This coming from Nintendo Life, quote, Hollywood is adapting Nintendo's Legend of Zelda series into a live-action movie, and while there's plenty of excitement about the upcoming film, there's also some concern, and I must admit I'm kind of concerned as well. But anyway, with this in mind, the film's director, Wes Ball, known for the Maze Runner trilogy, has told Total Film how he understands how just important the Zelda franchise is to fans and aims to fulfill people's greatest desires. He's also provided fans an idea of what to expect, explaining how he wants it to be a serious and real movie while offering a sense of escapism. Quote, that's the thing I want to try to create. It's gotta feel like something real. Something serious and cool, but fun and whimsical. So, you know, I wouldn't mind if they would try to take things in a more goofy direction or more lighthearted direction, like something like the Mario movie. But realistically, when I'm thinking Zelda, I'm thinking like, you know, that darker, more grounded, serious Ocarina of Time, you know, maybe even like Link to the Past era thing, where it's like, you know, it's a bit more grounded. I don't think they necessarily want to go as deep and dark as something like Majora's Mask, because, you know, that game was actually pretty dark at the time. But Zelda is definitely a bit more of a mature franchise per se. So, yeah, I definitely expect things to be a bit more grounded there. And it's cool to see that they're going for that, but that they're also keeping that cool, fun, and like kind of, as they say, whimsical air to it. So, yeah. Again, we don't have too much information on this one, but I'm super excited to see how this movie turns out. Next up, Jim Ryan is available as a digital collectible figure. This coming from Instant News Gaming. Quote, players have the chance to win a digital figure of Jim Ryan thanks to the PlayStation Stars program. All you have to do is play a game supported by the president during his career, be it Gran Turismo 7, Destiny 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Last of Us Part 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, or God of War Ragnarok. And I'll put the picture up on your screen of it, and I mean, hey, if you've played any of these games, and if you mess around with PlayStation Stars, I mean, there's a chance you could win this, I guess, if you want it. Again, it's a digital figure, but, yeah. Jim Ryan. Next up, GameStop has been hit with layoffs. This coming from Reuters. Quote, video game retailer GameStop said on Tuesday it had cut an unspecified number of jobs to reduce costs and reported lower fourth quarter revenue amid rising competition from e-commerce firms and weak consumer spending in an uncertain economy. Quote, an increasing mix of digital downloads is hurting physical retail, and there is simply no reason to go to the store if a consumer can just order a game and download it immediately, Wedbush Securities analyst Michael Pachter said. Revenues are highly unlikely to rebound unless management figures out a way to drive store traffic. GameStop's recent cost reduction measures also included an exit from its operations in Ireland, Switzerland, and Austria. As of February 3rd, the company had about 8,000 full-time salaried and hourly associates and between 13,000 and 18,000 part-time hourly associates worldwide. That compares to 11,000 full-time salaried and hourly employees and between 14,000 and 27,000 part-time hourly employees in 2023. Quote, I suspect that they will keep trimming costs to generate break-even or better, but it is inevitable that their sales will decline to an unsustainable level, Pachter said, end quote. So, jeez, that is crazy in itself, going down to 8,000 from 11,000 last year, and then, you know, even the other numbers obviously being way lower as well, and the fact that they cut even more jobs, like, I don't even want to know what it's at now. Even crazier to think that they pulled out of, what were all the places that they had listed? What was it, like, Ireland, yeah, Switzerland, and Austria? I mean, it really is sad, but, you know, there's a lot of, like, scandals that GameStop has been involved in, I guess you could say, like, a lot of controversy about their policies at the very least, and some of the ways they handle things, so, you know, I feel like it's one of those things where you mess up enough times, or you don't do enough to keep with the times, or you try to stay stuck in your ways for long enough, or just one thing or another. There's so many different things you could point out with GameStop, where it's like, yes, you know, I have a lot of fond memories with the store, but nowadays, I don't even shop at that store, you know what I mean? Like, I go out to shop at a lot of retro game stores near me, but when it comes to GameStop, again, they're still kind of just living in the mid-2000s, the early 2010s, trying to stay stuck in their ways. They've tried to introduce new things like bringing in figures and collectibles and stuff into their store, but it's only going to get you so far when some of their policies and some of the ways that they handle their orders and stuff like that. I don't know. I never want to see GameStop go away necessarily, but I really hope that they can find some way to turn things around, because I really do see a future where GameStop could still be around if they figure something out. And as always, I send my regards out to any of the employees that have been affected by the layoffs, and I hope that you are able to find sustainable work again soon. Next up, Take-Two has acquired Gearbox. This coming from IGN, quote, Embracer Group has officially divested Gearbox Entertainment, selling the division to Take-Two Interactive for $460 million. In a press release, Embracer shared that it is divesting Gearbox Software, Gearbox Montreal, Gearbox Studio Quebec, and the franchises Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Homeworld, Risk of Rain, Brothers in Arms, and Duke Nukem. Embracer will retain rights to Gearbox Publishing San Francisco, formerly Perfect World Entertainment, and which it plans to rename, the publishing rights to Remnant, Hyper Light Breaker, and other unannounced games, Cryptic Studios, Lost Boys Interactive, and Captured Dimensions. All of its retained assets will be integrated into other parts of Embracer Group. The sale is expected to close by the end of June. Gearbox will join Take-Two's 2K division and will continue to be led by CEO and founder Randy Pitchford. Currently, Gearbox has both a new Borderlands and a new Homeworld game in development, as well as at least one exciting new intellectual property per a separate press release, end quote. So, the most exciting thing to come out of this is not only is Gearbox free from the whole Embracer thing, we've been talking about that a lot lately, how it's like, hey, a lot of the studios that have been bought up by Embracer have kind of just been sent off to die by, you know, being bought up by them. So first things first, round of applause. I was really scared for them for a while that they were potentially maybe going to face that at some point. Thankfully, that is not the case. But furthermore, I am so excited to hear that a new Borderlands game is in the works, man. Borderlands, I've talked about it time and time before. I love Borderlands so much. One of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Now we have the movie coming up soon, and now it's been confirmed that there's a new game in development. Like, man, I literally have a poster of this game in my room, okay? If I have a poster of something, that means that I genuinely cherish it. So, I'm really excited. Obviously, we don't know anything really beyond the fact that there's a game in development, but obviously, as soon as we know more, I'll let you guys know. But once again, you know, round of applause and a massive congratulations to Gearbox for making it out of that Embracer circle. At this point, I just pray that Embracer can either turn things around or, you know, just sell off the studios that they can't afford to keep. There's been enough studios shut down lately. There's no need for any more. And finally, Apple is facing a massive lawsuit. This coming from Wired. Quote, the U.S. Department of Justice, along with more than a dozen state attorneys general, has filed a lawsuit against Apple that takes direct aim at the iPhone and the company's lucrative iOS ecosystem, claiming that Apple had established an iPhone monopoly. The suit argues that the company's allegedly anti-competitive behavior responds well beyond smartphones themselves. It cites financial services, fitness, gaming, media, and more as industries affected by Apple's walled garden approach. Quote, this case is about freeing smartphone markets from Apple's anti-competitive and exclusionary conduct and restoring competition to lower smartphone prices for consumers, reducing fees for developers, and preserving innovation for the future, end quote. Apple's App Store has been a particular point of contention for years. The company has faced legal challenges, most notably from Fortnite developer Epic Games, over both its restrictiveness and the fees it charges developers for in-app purchases. The App Store is a focal point of the suit, a key component of the allegedly anti-competitive moat the company has built around its products, end quote. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about Apple news in this video, and that's simply just because it pertains to the App Store. They even said it in the article. That's the focal point of this whole thing. So it makes me wonder, if they are able, if they end up losing this lawsuit, right? Like, what are the ramifications going to be for iPhone and the the Apple ecosystem in general? Are we going to see other stores go to the iPhone by chance? Like, what will it be one of the, because we've heard about this before, where Microsoft was planning on launching like an Xbox marketplace on mobile. Originally, I figured that would be something that would probably only go to Android, but is it possible that maybe if Apple ends up losing this case, that store can end up going to the iPhone? And maybe this will be a thing where the mobile scene starts to kind of look like the PC, where we have multiple different stores. I know, just saying this, some people that, you know, if you're familiar with PC, probably rolling their eyes like, oh, come on, dude, we already have the whole thing going on between Epic Games and Steam and all that. But from competition perspective, you know, I'm always all for, you know, more people throwing the hat in the ring, no matter what we're talking about, whether it be for video games or just other mediums in general. You know, more competition is always a good thing in terms of pushing innovation and evolution of the market. But yeah, I don't know. I'll just kind of leave that one there for now. We'll see how this case goes. But if Apple does end up losing this case, this could set an interesting precedent for the future of mobile gaming specifically, and who knows, maybe this could have ramifications on other marketplaces. What if we get to a point where Xbox is like, you know, say because right now we're at a point where it's like, hey, this case is here because the only app store available on iOS is the Apple App Store, and it's seen as being anti-competitive or a bit, you know, of like a monopoly. So could it be possible that this could ever expand outwards to consoles, and then we see a similar conversation there where it's like, hey, you need to open this up so then there's more stores allowed besides just the Xbox store or besides the PlayStation store? That is where the waters could get a little muddy, and that's just where I'm going to leave it for now. But this could have interesting ramifications, or it might just be something as simple as, hey, Apple either ends up losing or winning this, they adjust a few policies, and it's really nothing more than that. But who knows? After seeing the Microsoft and the old Activision case, you know, I mean, anything's possible. Things have been a little crazy in the legal world lately, to say the very least. But anyway, that is all the stories that I got for you guys this week, so now I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about? Whether it's all the latest game releases, Apple, and that whole lawsuit, Gearbox being acquired by Take-Two, or the fact that the Suyu emulator has already been pulled down. Just whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I would definitely love to hear from you guys. But anyway, this is Weekly GCap. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you want to catch them as soon as they go live, well then, now you know when to be here. But anyways, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.